Well, welcome everyone to this total lunar eclipse in Virgo. It's actually happening tomorrow in the early hours, or for some, tonight, very late. But more or less, it's happening within the next few hours for everyone. It's happening at 23 degrees of Virgo. And see on your chart which house that points to, and you will have an idea of which area of your life is mostly impacted. It is impacting all of us in more than one area, but this gives you an indication of what area is more prominent at this moment. Do you hear me well? Okay. Let's just go back to the context of this lunar eclipse. So we're in between times. Remember, in the last new moon, sorry, in Pisces, we saw that there was a door that was opening for a big reset that is happening at the end of the month. With it's not happening completely at that moment, but let's say it starts then with the solar eclipse, which is happening on the 29th of March. So we are in the process of something completely new, of a completely new way to experiment our lives, both individually and collectively. And I just want to remind us of something, and I'm saying this for you in the same way I'm saying it to myself. I took a course with a Argentinian shaman, and he used to say that phrase that I love. He would say, "Te lo digo y me lo digo." I'm saying it for myself, and I'm saying it for you. So it's the reminder that we always have the choice to cross a door, to do something, to um, do that reset, for example. We always have the choice in whether we want to do it or not, whether we feel the strength to do it or not, and how we do it. I'm not saying that to discourage us or anything, but just to remind us that we always have the choice. And everything that we're looking at when we look at the stars and the messages they have is information for us to use in our path. So it's a reminder that we always have the power to direct our lives in the way we deem best for us. And the more consciousness we put in it, the smoother it goes, of course. And that's why I'm doing these readings and meditations, etc. So last week we had Venus that started to go retrograde. And this Saturday, Mercury, the ruler of this moon, is going to go retrograde as well. And they both go retrograde in Aries. And so in the next few weeks, until roughly mid-April, there's a lot that we're going to have to revise. That's let's say, the general meaning of a retrogradation of these planets, or of any planet that retrogrades. It invites us to revise things. We'll see how we can use that a bit later today. So we are going through a true moment of reset where we need to review things, clean stuff, check where we are in order to open a new path for the next version of what we want to be. So between now and the end of March, we have a couple of weeks to work really deeply on those themes that we need to revise, and also on creating the vision that we want to have as our North Star for the next year's portion of life, whatever you want to call it, whatever cycle you are on. I won't go into that now, but I will post in the Lighthouse a few tips of exercises and things that you can think of to work with those revisions and to work with your vision of what you want to create. So I'll it's almost like yeah, not a ritual, but how to work with these things, so that you can do that on your own time. Yeah, and that's that. As a context, this is where we are. So let's look at the eclipse. Eclipse is like a super full moon. Lunar eclipse is like a super full moon, but much stronger. That's what it is in essence. So it's time of endings, of culmination of processes. They come to their maximum point before they start to fade away or get released, or it can be relationships, it can be projects, it can be anything. With the difference that eclipses bring permanent changes in our lives. And their effects can be felt up to 6 months after the day. Astronomically, it means that it would have been a full moon if the Earth didn't go in between the moon and the sun. So the moon is reflecting the light of the sun, and the Earth passes in between, and that casts a shadow on the moon and hides that light for a few minutes, and then it's the full moon again. This happens at the lunar nodes, which is a geometrical point where the path of the sun and the path of the moon cross, which means it is affecting, it speaks about karmic evolution. That's one of the big titles of this moon. We're dealing with karmic things and wounds and baggage, rather. In essence, this is a great time to let go. Regardless of its karma, it belongs to you, it belongs to your ancestors, it's something that you created in this life, it's a pattern, it's a belief. This is the time to let go. Like, think of big shower. We had that image already with the new moon in Pisces. This continues, but now we're just on that point, on the south node. So we'll see how exactly it affects us and how to work with that. So for this moon to be full in Virgo, the sun has to be in Pisces. So we are working with a very important axis in the zodiac, which is the Pisces-Virgo axis. The sun is in the archetype of Pisces. I believe it's associated with the verb, with love, with expansion, with the expansion of divine love or of unconditional love, which is the primordial energy for it to come to start expanding and incarnating. That's the initial movement, or the movement that comes from Pisces, and that will start its incarnation in Aries, go through the entire zodiac, and come back to unity. So that's where the light is coming from to illuminate the moon. In Virgo, the archetype is the most terrenal archetype in a certain way. It's associated with experimentation of earthly life, of its challenges, is that leap of faith that the spirit makes to incarnate and experiment what it is to be life. With everything that life is, all its colors, all its emotions, all its aspects, the good, the bad, the difficult, the easy, the joy, the art, everything that you can think of, all the diversity and the immensity of possibilities that exist in incarnated life. It's also the archetype of the mother and of service. So the Pisces would be the creator mother, the womb where everything comes from. And in Virgo, it's the mother, like the Virgin Mary, for example, that like the archetype of the nurturing mother here in this plane. And what Virgo teaches us is how to work through these challenges of life, the challenges of incarnation. So it's really an axis of creation and manifestation, of incarnation, an axis that connects heaven on earth, which we see in other axes, but this one is probably the most stretched out one. The masters that get together in Vesak in May, we say that they gather in that axis of Pisces, Virgo. So that is the context, let's say, or the archetypes or the concepts rather that are at play in this moon. The way the spirit, the most spiritual aspect of us and the most incarnated aspect of us work together and collaborate from up to the earth and from the earth up. So it's really about remembering our divine nature and at the same time nurturing the spirit with our experiences here. Yeah, makes sense? Let's go into the details of this moon. In Pisces and at the beginning of Aries, we have like a very a great collection of planets and points that are there, and this part of the zodiac is gonna just get more populated over the next few weeks. We have Sun, Saturn, the North Node, and Neptune all conjunct, opposing the moon. This speaks to us about all structures and behaviors. So we get to face the light of consciousness and our collective destiny, where all structures need to go. And we need to create the new from the idea of Pisces, love, unity, into Virgo, earth, service. That's the Saturn and Neptune, two big planets that are on both sides of the sun that help us like understand this idea that the old structures, beliefs need to dissolve and that the new must come from something much closer to the spirit. We also have Mars that is in Cancer connecting to the sun and Saturn as well. And this speaks to us about one aspect of Pisces that is the tendency to victimize oneself. And this aspect is talking to us about empowerment versus victimhood. It sends us back to our own power. So think of where we've lived in or entertained a form of disempowerment, where we felt victim of people, of a situation, of a person, and reflect on that and be real. It's really a moment also to be very true to oneself and to not fall into shame or, it's a moment of truth with ourselves. So to see or reflect on our lives with the eyes of truth, with the eyes of honesty, of authenticity, because it's a moment of change. So whatever we uncover now, we can get rid of. And it's a great opportunity to do that. We don't always have that clarity of knowing what's true and what's not. And we have a lot of help now to face the truth. So be real with yourself, and wherever you feel like you're complaining about something, think of whether you're entertaining a form of victimhood or not. It arrives, it arrives. It happens to all of us to have that because it's a way to protect our identity. And I'll talk more about that towards the end. But we live in a persona, in a character. And whenever that character needs to change, and it's by design, we have a survival instinct that wants to cling to whatever we have been, whatever we were. So getting out of that requires a lot of willpower, clarity, like, and the ability to hold space for yourself to get out from a certain state of being or belief until you move into the next. I hope that makes sense. But I'll come back a little bit more later on that. We also have Pluto that is connecting to the sun, and Uranus as well is connecting to the sun and to Pluto. Uranus is connecting to the moon as well. So we have these energies echoing each other in the zodiac. And it obviously speaks to us again about the power of change. So it brings that energy again, the force, the strength to make that change happen. Uranus talks to us about the fact that this change can be sudden, even violent sometimes. And Pluto is telling us about what I just said earlier about the ability to be reborn, which is changing your identity or what you identify with. And that's the thing, the loss, the fear of losing your definition. The thing is, if we remember that we are infinite, that we are divine, then we are much bigger than the persona that we created for ourselves throughout our first years until now. So it's kind of a tricky aspect, but keep that in mind when you do your work. Keep that in mind as a question of, okay, whenever you feel stuck in a situation or in a conflict or in something that you can't change, think of what benefits it has for you to remain in that situation. I know it sounds horrible because it's like wanting to be in a bad situation, but it's not. We don't want it consciously. We have imagine a tree that grows and it grows in a certain shape. So we grew in a certain shape in a certain way, and we created that situation, so it has become our way to be. And it's about taking a step back, realizing that there's other ways to be, and that getting out of this way to be is not death. We're not going to die. We're not going to, there's a sense of freaking out when we try to detach from something that we've experienced for so long. So just remember that you're much bigger than this, and you have all possibilities open to you. Yeah. And also remember that the more we stay that in an uncomfortable situation, it's like we're depleting our strength, our energy, our forces to maintaining something that is uncomfortable. And what happens with time, the pressure gets stronger than us because we're losing energy maintaining a state of circumstance or a situation. And then the pressure grows, the pressure grows, the pressure goes, and our energy diminishes. until it just like blows up. And then we are forced to change. And that's much harder than pausing. Okay, this is the thing that I've been experiencing for many years and I can't get out of it. And doing the work of analyzing. Virgo is I analyze. So in that, it gives us a lot of help. So analyzing, okay, why am I doing this? What's the benefit? Where does it come from? Is it inherited? From which point? And etc. What is it that I really want? And that's the other part of this moon, is really connecting what we really desire, but really not what we think is possible for us. It's what really our heart wants. So coming back to that pressure, um, the earlier we do it and with more consciousness we do it, the better, because then we get out and create a new timeline for ourselves. And Mercury is going retrograde in Aries, as I said, and that Aries is a sign of will. So we can invoke that energy when we do this work, the energy of willpower, that strength to move on, to go ahead, to just progress. And that's very useful. We have that for 6 weeks. And the other part of that big stellium in the end of Pisces, in the late degrees of Pisces, is about creation and activating the dream. So we have, as I said, the sun, and we have Saturn on one side, Neptune on the other side. And it speaks to us about dreaming big. Pisces is the dream, and Neptune is the ruler of Pisces. And Saturn is the one that anchors us to matter. So it's about fleshing out that dream and bringing it here and putting the structure around it so that we can manifest it. It's going as far as you can in your dream, in what your soul wants, and without censorship, and work back from there into, okay, how can I make that happen? And for that, we have a lot of help. And also, you will see that the more you're connecting to your dreams and the more you feel them, the more energized you're going to feel and the more ability to manifest them you will be. You might as well dream big if you're dreaming anyway. Like, you'll bring it back whenever and however it needs to be. But since you're dreaming, go for it. So you can see that there is like a tail and a head. The tail, the patterns, the karma, the old beliefs, the tail needs to go. And the head is fueled by the energy of Pisces, the one that's the north node. It's the head of the dragon and the tail of the dragon. That's the nodes. And the head is super energized with the vision, what I need to create and what I want. And we have a lovely, lovely, lovely conjunction with the North Node. There's a hypothetical planet called Vulcan. It's a planet that is supposedly, astronomers haven't found it yet, but there are many astrologers that have intuitively, even astronomers, intuitively identified its presence, and astrologers find correspondence with its cycles, with people's lives. So it seems that there is an energy there. So let's call it Vulcan for now. That's what other people call it. And it orbits the sun. It orbits the sun between the sun and Mercury. And interestingly enough, it's related to Hephaestus, the same character that gave birth to Pluto. It's the blacksmith of gods, of the gods. He lived in the depth of the sea, apparently under the Mount Etna, and he created jewelry for the nymphs who um, raised him, and armors and weapons for the gods. He's the master of the fire. Vulcan being connected to the North Node is giving us that cosmic fire to fuel the dream, to fuel our trajectory towards where we're going. The North Node is where we're heading. So it comes with few messages, or a few, let's call them messages. The connection with Vulcan, what it's saying is like, it encourages us to do the spiritual work. So he gives us the strength to do that work that we've been talking about, of looking at the patterns, the karma, etc., etc. The idea being to stabilize the balance between the spiritual and the material. That's what it helps us to do. It's also help us forge new inspiration. So, and it gives us the power, the strength to do that. It ignites our inner fire to find what is it that our soul craves and wants to experiment. So his gifts are fire, the firepower from heaven and earth. And funnily enough, it's bang onto this axis here. So Vulcan goes around the zodiac with the sun and Mercury. So, but here it's really in that axis that we're looking at today. So it's super meaningful where it is today. And it gives us the help because, fire is purification. So it gives us the help to purify what needs to be purified, Virgo again, and transform all the forms. So it speaks about our incarnation forms, all the forms that we no longer need. It can be forms of thinking, forms as in the way we relate to people, everything that relates to our incarnation here and now. And it opens the doors by purifying and helping us transform. It opens the door for our most solar, luminous being to advent. So it's a very powerful energy that we have here to help us. And last thing, there's something an image that can help us also understand what this eclipse is about. For those of you who know Jacob's ladder, briefly, Jacob is a character in the Bible. He was sent away from home by his mother because she learned that her son, the brother of Jacob, was planning to murder him. So she sent him away. So he goes away in the desert and he stops at a place called Luz, which is, funnily enough, light in Spanish. So he stops there in that land to rest, and he has a dream. And he has a dream that there's a ladder going from him to God, and there are angels going up the ladder and coming down from the ladder. And for me, this moon is very much connected to this idea of remembering the divine alliance that we have. That the ladder speaks about that, about the constant link that we have with the divine. Angels being the light or the information that goes up and comes down constantly in both directions. Both directions. It comes down as guidance and it goes up as what we, with our experiences, give back to the spirit. So beyond the current moment that we're experiencing, the current work that we need to do with our trauma, our karma, etc., this moment that we're experiencing right now speaks about the divine accord, the alliance that we have with the divine. And it's about remembering that we are divine beings, and that those divine attributes live within us. That's the meaning of the ladder of Jacob. And our experiences are means for the divine to nurture itself, to expand and know itself through the challenges that we're experimenting, which is all the challenges, even the hardest, they are doorways to gifts and to I don't know how else to say it, to gifts that are hidden behind it. However hard, however painful, however excruciating it is, there's always a gift behind it. And the more we do that work of finding the gift, the more we get close to our divinity and we nurture it. That's the trick of this game. And so there's that, and I wanted to finish on the Sabian symbol for this moon. So this degree, the Sabian symbol for this degree of the zodiac is Mary and her white lamb. So Mary is the symbol of the Divine Mother, also the matrix, the divine creator, the one that nourishes all her children with her love being completely unconditional. And the little lamb, for the Christians among you, you know that this is associated with Christ and also with the sacrifice of the lamb, in the way that Christ was sacrificed for the sins of all humanity. But I like to read that in a different way and rather focus on the concept of Christ as Christ consciousness, which is within all of us. And what is being sacrificed is the persona, what sometimes we call ego, but the ego that is related to our small person. This, when we manage to get out of it, we sacrifice it. This is what I was talking about earlier. Like when we allow ourselves to get out of what we believe is our identity and connect with the Christ consciousness, which is completely infinite and is the presence of God within us, then we reach that state of connection with the divine. And that's the white lamb that we want to get to. And sacrifice, I want to come back to that as well. Sacrifice actually means to make something sacred. So from sacer, sacred in Latin, and facere, to do, to make. So if we come back to really the origin of that image, that's what it is about. So in the hard work that we are being asked to do, to clean, to look at our shadows, to revise the conflictual situations, the challenges that we're experimenting, the underlying meaning and the end goal is to reach that consciousness within us, which is divinity, really. So that's it about this moon. To summarize it in small words, it's about embracing change, however scary it seems, to go on and dream big and believe on the dream and act on that dream. And number 3, to remember the divine alliance, and that divine lives within, in our heart. So before we get into the meditation, let's go for some questions if you have any. Let's ask the people from the inner earth what they have for us today. I don't know if you've heard about the latest discoveries in geology. A few months ago, I think they discovered that there were oceans under the crust of Earth, and now they discovered there are continents. And I think a few days ago, they discovered that there was like forests under the crust. So those guys are showing themselves. So let's see what further information would be useful for us tonight. Okay, that was quick. Message from ancient Lemuria, empathy. And let's see what that means. Okay. Empathy is a phenomenon of resonance of light particles in your being. We, ancient people of Lemuria, do not experience empathy in the same way that you do for many of you here on the surface of Earth. Empathy is an increase of receptivity sorry, give me a second. I need to read the whole sentence to translate it. Okay. Empathy is an increase of receptivity that humans are destined to be granted more and more and more deeply to unveil in their consciousness their belonging to the divine matrix. What we call the divine matrix is all the forms and non-forms that are alive and that make the creation. This message comes to you today to advise you to consider hyper-empathy as a possibility to connect deeply, an organic tool that you need to learn to master internally. This sensitivity is a gift of subtle communication and reception destined to enlighten or to put under the light what could be only perceived from a three-dimensional perspective. The essential key is empathy is a source of subtle information and must be used as such. The inner mastery supports the work of empathy or of the empath. Wonderful, wonderful reminder. It's a wonderful reminder because Pisces, where the sun is the sign of hypersensitivity. That is the sign that illustrates most what the Lemurians just told us about right now. And I love that they remind us of that. And you notice that they say at the end that you need inner work to be able to sustain the work of empathy. It means learning how to be firm, stable, grounded so that you don't get carried away by your hypersensitiveness. Thank you. I'll show you the all right. Let's go for the meditation. Make yourself comfortable. I'm going to start the music. Okay. Can you hear it? It's faint for now, but it should grow. Yeah, you do hear it? Super. Thank you. All right. Close your eyes. And take a few deep breaths. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Relax your body. One more time, take a deep breath in. And let go of any tensions, any thoughts, any emotions. And one last time, inhale deeply. And exhale. And come back to normal breathing. Take a moment to become aware of your body. Acknowledge it. Acknowledging your physical presence here and now. Feel the weight of your body. Feel the points where it touches the ground, the chair, the support where you're sitting. And take a moment to visit your posture, just to bring more awareness of your physical body. Feel your shoulders, are they relaxed? Check your spine. Is it straight and aligned with your head? Check your lower belly. Is it relaxed? Your jaws, your face. And gently visit all your body, part by part, readjusting your posture as and when needed. And when you're done, come back to normal breathing. And focus on your breath. Next, let's take a deep inhale from the core of Earth, coming up through our feet. And at the exhale, make a big sigh. Next one, inhale, drawing prana from the sky into your crown. And exhale with a big sigh. That's one cycle. And continue with 2 more cycles. Inhaling from the core of Earth, through the feet. Inhaling from the sky through the crown. And one last round. Inhale from the core of earth. Inhale from the sky into the crown. And now, I would like you to connect and bring back a memory of complete, unconditional love. Place your attention on your heart and bring that memory fully and entirely until it's vivid, present, and that you can feel it totally. Now, inhale from the core of earth into your feet and into your heart, and hold your breath for a couple of seconds. And when you exhale, bring your consciousness to your entire body. Inhale from the sky and hold your breath in your heart, where that unconditional love is there, pulsating. And exhaling, send that around your entire body. One more time. Take a deep breath in, inhaling from the core of earth, and hold in your heart. Exhale, sending your consciousness all around your body. And once again, inhale prana from the sky into your crown and hold it in your heart. Exhale and send that into your entire body. Continue at your own pace for a few cycles, holding your breath each time before you exhale. And you can, if you want, visualize that flow that you're sending around your body as golden light. And keep filling up your body with this unconditional love, carried by your breath. Let it reach every part of your body, run through your blood, reach every cell, every organ, every tissue, filling up your entire physical envelope or physical body. And maybe it starts bleeding out into your aura. Let it fill up your aura, nourishing it. until it forms a sphere around you. A sphere of unconditional love and or golden light. Release your breath and hold that sphere. Now place your attention at a point at the center of your forehead, on your third eye. And there visualize a flame. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And think of a challenge or a conflict that you are experiencing right now. Or maybe an area of your life where you find it difficult to change. And hold it in that golden sphere. Place it there. And listen. And ask, what teaching does it has for me? What is there for me to learn? What doors does this challenge open for me? And listen for the response back. And in that sphere, I see the fruit of that challenge appear. And I take it in between my hands and bring it to my heart. And I hold it there as the gift of my experience. And there, I remember the divine in me. And I realize that I walk my path, guided by the flame of my soul, nourishing my spirit with every experience. I take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And I activate with a humming sound. I remember the divine in me, and I walk my path, guided by the flame of my soul, knowing that every experience nourishes my spirit. I am, I am, I am. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. From my heart, I expand that consciousness in my entire body, massaging, caressing, expanding that unconditional love with my hands, with my touch. When I'm ready, you can open your eyes. Thank you once again for being here and for sharing that space with me in this moment. I wish you a beautiful eclipse, fruitful, and I will see you at the next moon.